Good day, beautiful people. Dr. Eve here. Hope you all are doing well. We're getting gearing up for another live session here on January 21st, Tuesday, January 21st. And I'm excited to be in the studio today to have another very important conversation. You are listening to Dr. Eve, the host of Touch One Life, Touch Millions, the podcast. And we are always excited to be on this journey, helping professionals remove the barriers associated with burnouts to design a life that they would be happy in living, right? So today's conversation is entitled, What if the small steps you take today could grow into the life you've always dreamed of? That's a mouthful, I know. Thank you to all of my replayers and all of you who have been supporting this channel. I am Dr. Eve, your community health and human service educator on a mission to touch the lives in my community and help individuals to see a non traditional approach to designing a career for yourself. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about that. So I'm going to get on this live in the live community as well, so that those who are visiting with us can just put in comments so I can see your comments. So lining this thing up and getting some people in the room. And while I'm doing that, if you are here, tell me tell me where you're chiming in from. Tell me where you're chiming in from and what questions might you have. And by the way, we are supposed to get some snow today. And I've got meeting after meeting. We're just going to see how that's going to work, right? Yeah, so we've been looking for snow for a while, and we haven't had any, but it looks like all of the US is under some unusual weather conditions. And so we're going to go with the flow. I'm going to again get in this comment area. I can see your comments. So if you are here, please, please chime in. Tell me where you're coming in from. I'm going to keep you positioned somewhere up here so I can see your comments if you have any, right? Let's put this where we're going to put this, right? Let's see, we'll put it right here. So or maybe I'll just put it right in front of me, like here. That may require me to look down a little bit, but nevertheless, we are here. And let me see if I can also cop. Oh, somebody's calling me from somewhere. But baby, I cannot answer your phone right this moment. So thank you so much, everyone, again for being so faithful to the work that I do here. I am getting ready to celebrate my 62nd birthday this week. I'm super excited about that. And the next level of work that God has for me. So I'm really excited. And I'm always excited about the journey that God has me on and just being obedient to the call that He has on my life. Because why? It's easier to do what the Lord wants you to. It's easier to walk in the will of the Father. So I see you out there. Say hello to me. So and just in case you want to come into the room, if that's something you want to do, if you would like to join the Zoom, I have a Zoom room. If you'd like to come in, please, please, please let me know in the chat. And you are more than welcome. So I'm going to, I've put that link out there. I'm going to go ahead and get started because I want to try to keep this live below 30 minutes. I know how hard that is sometimes. And again, I'm living out loud. So, to all of my peeps out there who've been following me, you guys know that I am really living out loud. I'm really demonstrating and modeling what it looks like to start a channel, to start a media, to start media, to, you know, get the community involved in, things like my background. I have a new background today. What do you think? I think I like it because it looks like I'm sitting in this chair on this sofa. So I really like that. So really excited. Tell me what you think about this new background, right? Again, and you are, if you're out there, you're supposed to be counting the ums because I'm on a mission to increase or improve my delivery and my communications by minimizing the use of the word which can repeat it so many times if we don't are not careful about our delivery. So for me, I'm consciously thinking about removing the word from my delivery. At the same time, it's causing me to have to slow down, and sometimes people who are watching don't really understand that there are some other dynamics at play here on the live, and may say, well, she's having a really tough time getting her words out. They don't really understand that I am really on this journey, communication journey, right? Because wherever we go, we must operate in excellence. And another thing that I am doing today, and I'm finding extremely helpful, is making sure that when I am coming here on Tuesday, that my advertisement aligns with the conversation that I'm going to have. So that when people click, they don't click and get to somewhere where they're getting something else, right? You want to maintain a level of consistency across your marketing when you are sharing and inviting people to join you in a space. There probably a flag may come up and say, "Oh, well, I want to learn." That's a good thought. That's a really good question. Now, here's what I didn't do. I'm going to tell you what I did. Uh, that's one. So when I put out my advertisement for today's conversation, I put it on Instagram, and I believe I put it on it immediately because it's a post went to Facebook. And the advertisement was, let's see what it is. I want to be accurate because we're doing what? We are learning out loud. And I want those of you who have been doubting yourselves, who know that you have a call, who also have knowledge and understanding and wisdom and want to increase their capacity, your capacity to earn, I'm talking to you. So, in the original advertisement that I did today, which should have gone out yesterday, and I also should have emailed it, and I didn't email it, and I posted it 10 minutes before it was programmed to program. So, big X is for me today that I just want to acknowledge. You have to do these things in advance. However, when you are running a tight ship and you don't have that extra layer of support that you need, it can be hard. And so it it's probably what will be a good thing is to make sure that I mark my calendar to do a time when I'm supposed to release this post, right? It should be released, have been released last week, actually, after the last live. And I should have had some dripping going on, like drip irrigation, like just to make sure that if people wanted to join, they had an opportunity to plan. They have an opportunity to say, to check in, to sign up, all the things. But I did not leave room for people to do that. That is actually something I am working on. And again, the reason why we are doing these lives is not just to bring you content, but to bring you back in content, to bring you real time. This is what's happening. This is what's necessary if you're going to broadcast. Is advertisement should have started after the last show. The problem is I have not planned my content out far enough. But now that I have a content schedule, so I worked on a content schedule this week, and my content schedule, now that I have this pattern of how I want to do things, I know my audience, I know the villain, I know in my story, I know the external and the internal issues that my person has. And I know what I am able to offer them. So understanding all of those dynamics first is critically important, or else you're coming here and you're just throwing paint on the wall, right? I heard someone say that. Believe it was Coach Kelly. You're just throwing some paint on the wall. And that's not what we want to do. And so today's advertisement went out late, strike. Okay, so I'm going to strike myself. And then I want you to tell me what you're thinking as I am sharing, because I am also watching the chat. So if there are questions, or maybe there is something that in what I'm sharing right now that you don't understand, I want to make sure I go all the way back, because I want you to take away something today. Okay. So, but the original advertisement said, the seeds of change are in your hands. Sow them. That is today's quote. So, when I did that, I added a little blurb that said, the seeds of change are in your hands. Nurture them and watch them grow into a better world, right? Let me make sure that I am looking in this chat to get this chat up here in case people are coming into the room. I want to make sure that I don't miss anyone. All right, that's the webinar chat. Let me make sure that if I have participants, Q&A, yeah. Okay, so I have Q&A. Now I know if someone's coming into the room. All right, so the advertisement that I added, again, let's review that. The seeds of change are in your hands. Nurture them and watch them grow into a better world. Are you ready to plant the seeds for the change you've been longing for? It starts with one step, surrounding yourself with a supportive community right here that believes in your purpose and potential. So you want your advertisement to be relevant to what it is that you are inviting them to. And I went on to say, join us for our weekly support group where we come together to do what? To break through glass ceilings, reclaim our God given purpose, build a legacy of impact and abundance. Three very, very, very important features to the work that I do here. And I went on to say, this is your time to nurture the seeds of growth, healing, and transformation. All things that we do here beautifully. Together, we can cultivate a better world, starting with who? You, because you are my target market. So it's really exciting to make sure that you have your advertisement posts out there. They know what they're coming to, they know why they're coming to it, and you're speaking to the person directly who needs you, right? And so I went on to say, okay, but wait a minute. When I do this YouTube post, when I do this YouTube conversation, I don't want to have the same title. I really need to have a good hook. So what is a good hook? A good hook would be something that would challenge the person's thinking, and those who are in another audience who did not even, excuse me, who may not have even seen the advertisement, because remember I said the advertisement was on Instagram, and because the post, it automatically goes over to Facebook as well. But let me see if it went to Facebook. That is a good question, because I know that I posted two of them. So I also need to check, because one of them needed to be deleted. It had the wrong, I had to correct the advertisement. And see, you need to give yourself time to do that. And I didn't give myself time to do that. So what I'm trying to do in front of you is model what's expected. Let's talk about what went wrong. Let's talk about what we can do to make it better the next time, right? Oh, so I see it only up here. Oh, because I deleted the other one and said delete everywhere, it took that down. Okay, so we're good. People can get, it's over there. It does go directly to Facebook, so that's good. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please, drop in the chat where you are checking in from. I would love to know that. I would love to know that. So, again, we're going back over here. I don't want to be on the Instagram. I don't want to be on the YouTube. I need to be. All right, so let's talk about today's hook. That's what we were talking about. You want to have a different hook for your video, because people are going to see this video in the aftermath, right? So what's a good hook for what I just shared? So what if we said, what if the small steps you took today could grow into the life you've always dreamed of? The seeds of change are already in your hands. Tell them, convince them you have what it takes. Will you plant them? Will you plant them? So now we're leaving them with a question. We're leaving them with an opportunity to take some action, right? To begin to think about what this is going to look like for them. So that was the name of. I gave the live the first part of the question because I felt like it was maybe too long, but if YouTube will allow me to go back and correct it and make it, use the whole hook, then I will use the whole hook. But for now, I used the first question for the hook. Now, let's get into this, because we do have a teachable lesson today. And this teachable lesson is planting the seeds of change. And in this lesson, the lesson is the seeds of change are in your hands. Nurture them and watch them grow into a better world. Now, where did we see that? That was actually the advertisement, was it not? Well, I said sow them. So I altered it just a little bit. Sow them. I gave them a call to action. So, what are some steps to apply this lesson, right? First, you want to, in everything you do, when you're considering sowing your seeds in a way that you can nurture them and watch them grow into a better world, or a better, uh, a better way to utilize your skills. You have to identify your seeds. That's one of the things that we do in our program. We know that every action we take is like planting a seed, whether it's learning a new skill, investing in a relationship, or taking a leap of faith. Small intentional steps can grow into these something extraordinary. Why do I know that? Because these are the steps that I took. I learned some new skills. I got some new degree. I'm not telling you to go get a whole lot of degrees. These were degrees I already had. But I did take some trainings. I did take some classes. I did, invest in some books. I read some books, took some classes, got me a coach, all the things, right? And investing in a relationship, that's an action that you can take when you're planting a seed. Investing in a relationship, or taking a leap of faith. And anything about entrepreneurship always requires taking a leap of faith. You believing that you can and that you will, right? And taking the necessary steps to grow in an extraordinary way. So, number one, identify your seeds. Take a moment to reflect. What areas of your life need change or growth? And for those in the career development space, it was my career. I'm like stagnant. What is wrong with this picture? What is happening here that I have 4 degrees and I am not able to get a promotion? I had to do some evaluating of what was actually happening in my life because I began to question, is this all you have for me, God? So you want to ask yourself a series of questions. What areas of your life need change or growth? And for me, it was career, yes, family, it was my faith was always strong. However, I definitely doubted myself. I definitely had some demons of my own that I was telling myself that even allowed me to stay on that job as long as I did. Have you ever filled out an application? Or have ever completed an application? Now, this could be the stronghold that happened, or now that I think about it. You have what it takes. You have openings that are jobs that are on the job board, and you immediately go to the job description. You read this job description and you talk yourself out of it. Oh, I don't think I could do that. When really, in essence, it's a bunch of words. It's a bunch of words that you're not sure actually what they actually mean, because there are people who are crafting these job descriptions according to something. We don't know what that is. And perhaps you qualify for it all, but maybe you talked yourself out of it because of this or that, right? Oftentimes we do that. We'll talk ourselves out of the job before we even apply and go and sit down for an interview. Now, that can keep you even from getting the interview because you're already telling yourself that you're not good enough, right? So you're manifesting and you're putting in the air, even in so a man thinketh, so he is, right? So you're already putting this in your mind, this doubt, self-doubt, and of course, it will manifest itself if that's what you believe about yourself. So once you do that, you have identified, you have looked at what area of your life needs change or growth. You write down 1 or 2 small seeds, right, that you can plant today. What is something that you can plant today? 2 small seeds. What? Write down 1 or 2 small seeds you can plant today. And for me, sitting there in a very frustrated, my internal feeling was a feeling of frustration of these glass, what I perceived as externally glass ceilings, right? I perceived them as glass ceilings that frustrated the devil out of me, and I wanted to know how I can get around these things. So understanding that I really had something beautiful, that I have skills, I have strong community, I have the talent, right? I have faith. I should be having a beautiful career. Did I start late? I did. I started late because I invested in family. But it doesn't mean that I can't have what God wants for me. It was just I did it in a different time frame. Everybody doesn't bloom at the same time, or we bloom in certain places. Because to think about, many times we hear women uh, who start and have families first and have careers later may, cause are often called mature or late bloomers or this or that. But when you reverse that, you have older women who chose their career and then they chose childbearing years later, Well, the doctor is going to say you're mature or blooming late. So either way, it's a maturity and a bloom late, but it's what a personal preference. It's our personal preference. What you decide is good for you in the moment, and we all bloom at different stages and different times. That's what I definitely want you to take away from here. So we can learn how to stop beating ourselves up when things that because of we didn't operate on the world in the world system, right? Because we didn't operate in the world system. So then, so you want to write down one or two small seeds you can plant today. Number two, you want to nurture with consistency. So the two seeds I planted was, first of all, I looked at got my resume, put it in front of me, and I began to review my resume in a way that my employer utilized my skills, because I was always working in the other duties as assigned. Why? Because I had a lot of talent and I had a lot of degrees. So, of course, they didn't need my degrees for me to have that job, but that category that they use called other duties as assigned was an area that always had me operating in my in an area that they weren't paying me for. I was always operating in everything under my skill set. Everything under my skill set was what I was told. You're qualified to do everything under your skill set. The day I was told that, I was like, wow, I cannot believe she just said that to me. You're qualified to do everything under your skill set, which is true, but they are not going to pay me any more for doing it, because there's this clause, other duties as assigned. So I am assigning you to do this thing because I know that you have the skills to do it. Wow, right? So we often get caught up in those things. So what I did was I went to my resume and I reviewed it. If coordinating was not what I did, but I designed it, I started changing the language. I started changing the language of what was presented to me and what was actual, right? Because I was developing, I was designing, I was managing, I was all the words that of leadership, right? How are you utilizing, how are you using your transformative skills in a way to design, utilize your skills in a way in a leadership role, right? This is transitioning to leadership. The first step to transitioning to leadership is to pull that resume out. Pull that CV out. If you're a researcher and you've been there, what did I want to take away from this job? I was a researcher sitting on an editorial board for a research journal, teaching medical practitioners how to take their evidence-based practice from the bedside to the research journal. Big deal, big, huge deal, right? But I wasn't getting paid for it. See, I was overseeing this big thing, right? So I want you to begin to see, what are your seeds and how are you planting that today? Number two, then you want to nurture it with consistency, right? Seeds don't grow overnight. I'm about to plant some radishes, some microgreens today. Me and my grown child is here to help me. She's going to help me grow some microgreens. And they don't grow overnight, but they will grow in 6 days with somewhat nurturing. I love to associate the things that we do in our careers and in our lives with the things of the garden, because there are very valuable lessons, right? And you will see that as this conversation unfolds. So whether it's attending a support group like this one every week where we talk about our knowledge, our understanding and wisdom, and turning it into a what? Income vault. I call it an income vault. Setting aside time for prayer. Why? Because we want God's will. We want him to speak to us. We want him to help us design. God help me do this. He is my partner. He is my partner. I am doing the will, his will. And so he helped me co-design what this should look like. And of course, I have to be in prayer because I don't have all the skills that I need to pull it off. One of the biggest goals that I have set for this year is sales. I am not the best salesperson because I've worked so long in community helping people that I oftentimes forget to call people to action. If you got books, call them to it. If you have a program, call them to it. If you have a support group, call them to the support group. If you have, this is how you do it. So I am committed. This is why we're working out loud because I want you to know that I'm calling y'all to action this year, right? And no one who comes into this support group, no one who comes here to develop and nurture their seeds is going to work for free. That is the one thing we do not want to do. You can sell something right out the gate, even if it's nothing but a t-shirt. And one of the things that I have really been working on is designing things like that I can sell while I am pitch while I am doing this work with you all, right? All right, so there's no Q&A, there's no one in the chat, so we're going to keep going. So then you want to remember that they don't grow overnight, that you want to set aside, you want to join a community, you want to have time for prayer. What? Anything that you put before God is an idol anyway. And we don't even want to be making this an idol because he bought, we're here because he wants to use us. Okay. So we can't do this without him. So we must take time to pray. Build a new habit. A new habit I've already shared with you today. One of the things I need to do is implement my scheduling, my content calendar, so that my advertisement gives people time to join, ask questions, engage, and then may even make a reservation to be here, given it's in the middle of the day. It's a lunchtime. It's lunch and learn. So but people, if they don't know about it, you will not attend because you have not given them time to put it on their schedule. So this is Dr. Eve living out loud. I want you to begin living out loud because the work that we do here is a collective. We come and support each other. If you're coming here to listen and to learn from me, and you are designing and developing a program, the one thing I want to do is come and support and help you to grow because we do this better together, right? We are a collective of individuals who have a different set of strengths and programming that we want to do together to be able to do something really big in the world, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking about partnership. Who would make a good partner for me? Right. I have a couple of friends that I want to do that with, and some of them know who they are, others, still on the fence. They doing their own thing. Um, okay, there was that again. I said we're not doing that. So you want to build new habits and commit to nurturing these goals regularly. So in this community, my accountability partners are the team members who come to this group every week or every other week or forever how often they show up. They're going to say, well, we didn't see your advertisement. I didn't see your advertisement. You were supposed to post that last week, or you're supposed to post that, you know 2 days before or 3 days before. Why didn't you post it? Like, where are my accountability partners? So I hold people accountable, and we do the same for one another. So then you want to find some fertile ground. Find yourself some fertile ground. And what does that mean? Surround yourself in the right environment. You want to be in a right place, in a right environment with the right people who provide the support that you need. That would look like a supportive community. That's what we do. I've been doing this for years. I am a facilitator. I teach group processes at the college level. I teach this to helping professionals who are engaging their audience to get them from A to Z, because their service might be working with mothers who are nursing. They may be working with new moms of boys. They may be working with moms who have premature children. That's just a category. You see how that works? It's like everyone, this space is designed for helpers. It's designed for helpers who are utilizing their skills outside of a traditional system to increase the capacity for them to earn. They're living and working outside of the box, right? And that is imperative that we understand that we are more than systems tell us we can make. We are more than systems tell us we got to be in an office, like was just spoken. We are more than, if we're just more than those things. And we have to know this for ourselves and design the life that allows us to be free, to travel, to be speakers, to present, that we are more than an office, that we're more than the systemic violence that exists in this country. So we know that there are things that we can work on, right? So you want to be in a supportive community with some uplifting resources. I'm always giving resources. I have an entire community and I am always plugging away at things concerning us, things concerning businesses and business tips, business resources, getting prepared, food, work, water, systems that's going to help from a home economic model, because I work from home. Our first priority is God and the home and then community. And so I work from internally from that in that order, right? So that means that building a home economy is critical to me, because I cannot go out here and do the work without first building internally to make it possible for me to do this great work out here that God has called me to. So you want to be in a community where you can get the resources and opportunities to grow. Now, your opportunities to grow only come through your nurturing the goals that you set. You're practicing, you're sowing the seed, like sowing that small seed and then nurturing it every day and building new habits, and be willing to accept criticism, just like me out here. I'm sharing with you guys that I'm on a communication journey to deliver better. I'm on a living out loud. This is the background. Do y'all like it? No one has said, do you like my background? So what I'm going to tell you about this background is I have a nice couch back here. See this couch? I'm sitting in it. You can't tell that I'm not really sitting in it, but it's a good background. And this is a media channel. So I have quite a few that I'm testing out. I'm just playing around, but this is how we do the work. We're not perfect. We want to be able to come out here and share with the community what we're doing and get their feedback, because your feedback helps me to be better, right? Because I'm not a marketing person, but I'm using what I have until I can get what I want. Okay. Now, so when you find in your fertile ground, we talked about that. Fertile ground means a ground that's going to fertilize again, give you the right environment. It's like planting. My vegetables are not going to come up in some poor soil. The most important thing is the foundation, the soil. If I'm not giving that soil any nutrients, it's not going to grow. If I'm not providing a great environment, which is your community, to for those plants to grow, they won't. If I'm not giving it the right resources, then it won't grow. And every resource is not good. All fertilizers is not good. Sometimes we think those fertilizers are good. Some of these fertilizers are good, and in essence, they are not. And we have to begin to do some research. Which fertilizers work best for this type of plant, or for a tree, or for a vegetable, or for a fruit, right? What we have to understand those things, right? So that's called fertile ground. Just like your plants thrive in healthy soil, you thrive when you're supported. Does that make sense? All right, let's keep going. The next thing you want to do is always be celebrating, your wins. I'm in a community. I have created a community for people to learn, to grow, to do their thing. Sometimes they don't even show up for themselves. I'm calling them all out if they hit this post. They don't show up for themselves. They're not participatory. I can see that they're there because I can see that they seen the post last today, but they won't click, like, nothing, right? And I don't know why that's a thing, because that shouldn't be, right? It doesn't take all of a second for you to be a participant, participatory, right? That's You cannot effect change in the lives of other humans, or expect humans to even change their lives, if each of you are not participating. That person needs to engage with you, and you need to engage with them. How y'all do that is between y'all, but you have to engage with each other, right? And also celebrate your wins. If you woke up this morning and that's what you did, but baby, that's the best celebration of all. You woke up. But I don't know why people cannot see that there's always something to celebrate. Celebrate your growth. Growth takes time. If I get, I gotta, let me tell y'all something. I have a broccoli out there right now, and I got to go out and put some stuff over my plants in a little bit, because it's getting bitter cold, right? That little broccoli head is so small, and I have watched it grow, and I've been wondering, well, why is it so small? Well, at one time, it wasn't even a broccoli head. At one time, it only had a couple leaves. So I still celebrate the fact that even though it's not large, it could be the environment that it's in, the fact that it's in a pot and not the ground, or not a pot big enough to allow it to grow, right? So, growth and community. Remember, we talked about find your fertile ground, or maybe I didn't put enough of the right fertilizer in it, nurture it with consistency, right? But I still have a broccoli head. And I'm believing that whatever I'm doing is definitely working, and I'm definitely celebrating the wins of this broccoli head. Now, I anticipate that in the spring that it might be a little dormant as well, but we're going to see. And I might just cut the bottom out of it, put a hole in the ground, and sit the pot in it so it has more room to expand. And I might get broccoli. I don't know. We're going to test and see, though, because it's what? Worth trying, right? Because I've already put the seed in the ground. I've already sown it. I've already nurtured it with consistency. I've got fertile ground because it's got a broccoli head on it, right? So I'm celebrating all the things. So y'all, I hope y'all pick up what I'm putting down. And I will tend to use gardening as a way to express uh, how we can grow in our businesses as well, because it's relevant to me. It is a passion of mine, and it's something that I teach everyone, because we, as you are moving through these processes of growing your business and building a home economy, you also have to learn how to keep more of your money, right? So you want to keep more of your money, so maybe you can go invest in something. Maybe you're putting money on the punishment. Maybe you're putting your money on punishment so you're not eating out all the time, and you're eating at the house, or you're growing your food so that you can have more money to invest in something that's going to also provide you passive income. Okay. So there's a lot of reasons behind this, and make sure that you rejoice. Take a step forward every single week, every single day. Here's the thing. I left my 9 to 5 every single day, and I would give myself an hour to get home and undress, and I was clocking into my next job. Do you know what my next job was? My business. And I would clock out of that at whatever time I would take myself to sleep, because I had to clock into that business every single day. That's the consistency, and I needed to grow the business, which is why I'm home today. So I no longer work. I left my job in 2016, and I have not looked back. I'm almost celebrating. This year makes eight years. Yeah. It's been 8 years, and I have not turned back. So what I'm saying to you, that does not happen without utilizing all of these steps. Then the next thing you want to do is share your harvest. Once your seeds grow, you don't want to keep them to yourself. You got to go sell them. You got to go. What's the beauty of change? The beauty of change is that it inspires others. So my story, sharing my story with all of you, and the journey that it took me to get here, and my why, the story is inspires others who want to do something similar. Use your growth to touch lives and make an impact in your family, your community, or your career, right? So you want to be sound, have some sound practices and some steps. These are some steps to apply to the whole ideology of our title today. The seeds of change are in your hand. Nurture them and watch them grow into a better world. And that is exactly what we want to do. We want to remove the barriers associated with access and education and support for care, because what we are helping professionals who are in this work to increase the capacity and operate on a macro level. Encouragement for this week: God has already placed the seeds of purpose and potential within you. All He asks is that you plant them, nurture them, and trust Him with the harvest. Small steps today can lead to transformational change tomorrow. Let's grow together. Join our weekly support group. You can get to the link in this description box here and join me live in my Zoom space. Maybe you can be a visitor, have a conversation, because I look forward to teaching the lesson, but also getting the feedback of the community about what they took away from the conversation today. Would you like to add specific exercises? Um, we're going to begin to do some exercises and some reflections as well, so that we can have a thriving community as we grow together. So I'm super excited for those of you who are with me here in the chat space. I see that there are now only two of you. If you have, what did you take away from today's conversation? If you are joining this in the replay, if you would just come, get into the comment section. Tell me what you learned from today's discussion. I want to know your key takeaways. I want to know what your aspirations are. And yes, please don't forget to come and click the link and join our group so that you can come into the circle where we are. I also have a community group on Telegram where we share every day. And that group is eventually going to be going to a paid community, very small amount. It is important, though, as a leader and as a business owner, that you monetize your skills. And that is something that's my goal this year. Even if it's $4.99, it doesn't matter. you have to charge something for the things that you are doing for others. And so it doesn't have to be a lot, but that every little bit counts, and you can really magnify the work that you do with others. So, some of the questions that some the steps that you can apply, we talked about these lessons of identifying your seeds. An exercise that you could do is take 5 minutes to list two or three of the areas in your life. And so when we're together in community, these are we will apply these things immediately. So it's good to be in community, and let's have some important conversations and applied learning. I tell you, it is the best when you can learn and apply at the same time. That is the goal here, for us to take action immediately, right? So, I'm Dr. Eve, everyone. We are at the top of the hour, and I said I wanted to keep this to an hour or less. It's always an absolute pleasure to come here and share with all of you the work that we're doing globally. I'm excited for those of you who are social workers. We're going to have the 57th annual NABSW conference in Richmond, Virginia, where our qualitative team of researchers is going to be presenting on our International Pan African International Education Conference in Ghana. We were able to go to Ghana this past year, and we were chosen for the research team, and so it's really exciting to prepare. This is I want to answer this, my daughter, but I'm in the middle of this. And so I'm excited, and we are going to be presenting, and that's the way you use your skills. That's your speaking opportunity, showing you how to utilize everything that you are in ways that will allow you to grow, allow you to get contracts, allow you to start a business, allow you to start whatever it is that's best for you. So I'm super excited. Again, my name is Dr. Eve. I am your community health and human service educator. I'm also an independent business owner, IBO. I do all sorts of wonderful things in my community: teach, speak, write books, author, teach classes, teach college, whatever it is. You have the ability to take your knowledge, understanding, and wisdom and create an income vault. Let's live outside of the box in 2025. Let's live outside of the box. Peace and blessings. And I hope that you have the most amazing day. And whatever you do, don't let anyone get